What's up, y'all? It's your girl Sang, and we are back for another episode of Let's Address the Comments. Last week was interesting. I'll say that much. I effectively angered the Satanists and the Alphabet community. More so the Alphabet community, and it was crazy because it was the Alphabet community not only on YouTube but also on my other social media platforms. So that was interesting. I will say this, because I'm about to just breeze past by this really fast, and concerning both of those communities, right? Those who watch me faithfully, obviously, you guys know I'm Christian, and it says that right here on the videos. When you look up here, you see it says Christian and conservative. Boom. So you already know what the stances are, especially how I talk and how I speak, and I'm letting you know what side of the fence I play on. You already know what side I'm on, and honestly, if that angers people, you shouldn't be watching me to begin with. You should just be clicking off videos. And those that aren't Christian that watch my content and you still here, I really do appreciate y'all. There's a few of you. For example, Chris been here from the beginning. I probably had like under 100 subs ever since Chris been here. And he really came originally to watch my video game playthroughs and my conservative content. Because he straight up told me he's not Christian. He was like, yeah, I'm not Christian, so I'm never really going to watch those videos, but I do like your other stuff. And I'll stick around and watch all this. And I appreciate him for that, because you don't have to. Mind you, with that being said, I've had somebody else say the same thing and immediately freaked out and started watching my other content and just always wanted to argue with me and stuff. And I'm like, yo, didn't you just say you wasn't gonna agree with me off rip? Why are you arguing with me? We agreed off the beginning that we were going to agree to disagree and leave it at that. I don't even know why you here right now. So all those that are here and not Christian, and you just watch because you like my personality or whatever, you like what I have to say, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. For those that just keep torturing yourselves, I have no idea why you keep putting yourself through it. You might as well just click off and get up out of here right now. You don't have to be here. Nobody's forcing you to be here. But I will say one thing. When it came to me going back and forth with the Alphabet community, I asked a question to God, and because I wanted to know if I was handling myself correctly, because since the months I've been on YouTube, I think I've been on YouTube for like 6-7 months so far, something like that. And we are now going to my 6th month of me being Christian. So usually in the beginning, when people be like, you don't know what you're talking about, gays are allowed to do this, blah, 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 or other people could do blah, 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 I used to just ignore it. Or I would pick, maybe once I created this segment, I'll pick maybe one comment out of all of them and just address that one comment. But I'll be real with you. In terms of me pushing back and going at it, I did ask God. I'm like, how do you want me to conduct myself, God? Because I know not only are we supposed to separate ourselves from the world, but we are supposed to share the gospel and preach it how it's supposed to be preached. And I did that. Not only did I say what was wrong, I biblically stated why it was wrong. And I told them what to do. And what ended up being the response to that, either I got yelled at more, because it's like, my feelings, or they just changed the subject. They were like, oh yeah, well, what about this thing we're not talking about? And it's like, well, what about it? Like, stay on subject. What about it? Like, we're talking about this. Oh yeah. Well, here's another thing we're not talking about because I just want to argue. It's like, nah, if you don't have a comeback for this, we're done, because nobody was talking about this extra stuff. Funny enough, one of the lines, since Chance the Rapper has a line where he's like, I don't believe in science, I believe in signs. That has been very prevalent ever since I became Christian. God has given me so many signs to let me know what I should do and how I should be moving. And I asked him this question, and yesterday Nikki dropped the same video 3 times. And I'm not saying that to be like, I can't believe she dropped that video 3 times. No, that was the sign. That was the sign. Because what that video was about answered my question that I asked God. So I was just so happy. I'm like, Nikki, that's what's up. Thank you for sharing this video. And I approved it. It's on all 3 of the videos that she put it on. I approved it so everybody else can see it too. It pretty much answered the question that I had for God. I know how I'm about to move forward. I'm going to keep sharing the gospel how it's supposed to be shared. I love everybody. I would love for everybody to get saved. But as we know, reading the Bible, everybody not making it to heaven. I would love for everybody to make it with us. But I'm going to keep sharing the gospel. And if you don't like it, you don't have an issue with me. You have an issue with God. You need to talk to him about that, all right? I didn't make none of this up. I'm just working for the kingdom. That's all I'm doing. And that's how I'm going to just keep it. So moving forward, people want to keep coming at me about certain stuff, I'm going to just tell it how it is. And I'm going to keep telling it how it is. And I'm going to give you the scripture to back it up. Now I'm going to keep sharing the message and doing what I'm supposed to do. Okay? As a worker of the kingdom. For God. But with that said, let's actually get into these comments. All right, the first comment is from the video titled "Is Mr. Beast Evil?" And it says, I've seen Nick Jones, a Christian channel, talk about this. I can't believe people are saying he's trying to be Jesus or he's the Antichrist because of this. Also, people saying that if he didn't do this sincerely, then he's going to hell. I mean, he isn't saved yet, so he basically is going to hell. Who cares if he's living his best life? Nick was saying he could save so many lives if Jesus was the center of his business. Possibly. But he'd have to cut every time he mentioned God out of the videos because YouTube wouldn't like that and people might deny his help. Yo, so I watch Nick Jones from time to time, but I completely missed the video. So when you had mentioned this, I was like, oh no, here we go. What did Nick say? After watching Nick's video and some other Christian content creators and give their piece, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was saddened by what they had to say about the whole situation. Here you have a man doing good deeds with his money. Mr. Beast lives in his studio. I think he lives there because he's like, all I need is a bedroom and a bathroom. There's a interview of him saying that. My man don't have supercars. He doesn't dress in hype beast clothing. He dresses super average. He lives super average. My man don't even eat fancy meals. There was a video where they went out to this restaurant to eat the most expensive food they've ever had in their life. And he looked at it and he was like, yo, I can't even eat this. He was like, I don't even want to eat this. And he had somebody else take his spot and they enjoyed the meal on his behalf. He's super simple. He just did a video with Keith Lee where he was like, I just eat Taco Bell all the time. His palate has to be garbage. Because Taco Bell all the time is crazy. All right? I used to work at Taco Bell as a teenager, right? And I used to eat it a lot as a teenager. But as you grow up, it's like, sir, you need some home-cooked food. You need some real food in your system. But this is how he lives. He has all this money. He don't even use it for him. He gives it back to everybody else. So to hear Christians be like, he's not a real Christian. He's the Antichrist. I wouldn't care if he spoke about Jesus. Y'all crazy. You don't even know how God is using this man. This man grew up Christian his whole life. Who's to say he's just playing the game right now? Because he knows what's going to happen if he puts Christian in his videos. Bro, they're going to block him. They're going to demonetize him. They be monetizing my videos when I talk about anything Christian related. You think his not going to get demonetized? And he needs the money to do what he has to do, which is helping people. I don't understand how people could find evil with that. I saw articles talking about it was charity porn, all this stupid stuff. God, it could be working on his heart right now. And a lot of people are just blindly ignoring that because they don't want to see it for what it is. He's doing good in the world. He's not the Antichrist. He's not Jesus. He's just a man doing good deeds. And there is nothing wrong with that. I was so disappointed this past week with my fellow Christians and everybody else that was tripping off of this. So I'm with you. I don't understand what's wrong with people. I really don't. It's sad. It truly is sad. And I hope they all get their minds right so they can start seeing it for what it is. Because it don't make sense. None of it makes sense. All right, the next comment is from my reacting to content from Libs of TikTok Twitter, episode 6. So that's what I dropped last Monday. And it says, let's remember that it is the parents that take their kids to these drag events. Yeah, so at the end of it, we watched a clip, some drag event. I don't even remember where it was at. And they had kids there putting the money, like the tips, into the drag stars. And I was upset. I wasn't upset with the kids because they have no idea what's going on. It really is the parents. I don't know what's going on in the parents' mind where they're just like, yeah, I want my baby putting money in some drag person's attire while they dancing and twerking and stuff. It was sick. It was disgusting. I think as Christians, not only do we have to keep doing our due diligence, making sure laws are passed to stop stuff like this, or how like Ron DeSantis just passed something for Florida, we have to stay on this because all of this is wrong and we need to protect the children. Okay, so we need to stay on that, but also we need to pray for the individuals that want to keep putting kids in these situations, because something is wrong with them mentally. Something is gone with them, and we need to pray that they just get it together. That's the only way this is going to work. We have to work on two fronts. We have to pray, and then we have to do the actual footwork of making sure we get all of this stopped once it comes around. All right, our next comment comes from my video where I said, "Why are there bones underneath the altar?" And it says, "Hi, saying, it was ancient custom to offer the holy sacrifice, the Eucharist, or unbloody offering of Christ's sacrifice, over the bodies of martyrs whose sacrifice was considered closest to that of Christ. The custom remains in the form of retaining relics of martyrs in the altar. This is called altar stone, but in the East, they use a cloth with relics called an antimension. Regard the Catholic Church being first? Yes, but you will understand that better when you read the disciples of apostles called apostolic fathers. The first mention of the Catholic Church is in St. Ignatius of Antioch. His 7 letters were written about 107 Anno Domini, which is AD. The Eastern churches, identifying as Orthodox, also accept the disputed 7 books, which were in the Septuagint Greek Bible." Okay, so in that video, we were watching like a 10-minute clip from something called the Catholic Talk Show. It's like a podcast. And they were explaining there's this Catholic church in Israel, which is why I was like, yo, if it's in Israel and they had built it over the stone that Jesus' body was laid on, I was like, if that's the case, then that's technically the first church, which would mean Catholicism is like the original and everything else just piggybacked off of that. And in terms of denomination. So like you had that first, and then it was like, they said when Martin Luther broke off, that's how you got the Lutheran churches. So in Protestant, you have Lutheranism. And then you had whoever left his church then made a denomination, and so on and so forth. You have all these denominations. Because I had one of the Christian Discord servers I'm in, I saw like an argument. I wouldn't call it argument. They were having a back and forth discussion, and they were just like the true denomination is baptism. Because they were just like, that's what they were back in the day. But that's why, cause they were like, I don't know how people can't see this. Because he literally called himself John the Baptist. So we have to practice baptism. That's the true one. But if that's true, then why wasn't the first church? See, I have questions. These are all questions at this point. Because now I'm just like, well, if that's true, knowing what I know, why was the first church Catholic then? See what I'm saying? So it's like, if wouldn't the first church have been Baptist if that was the case? See, I got questions, but I'm also still learning. So I don't know all of this. I'm just taking it as much as possible. This is why I like apologetics, because you can read a lot of stuff. Because I've read it and watched a lot of things, but I haven't gotten to those parts of the Bible yet. And then when we speak about the Bible, which is 66 books, yes, Catholics and Orthodox, they have 7 more than us. So I now have to read that. Then you have stuff that's not in any of this when you have like the Book of Enoch and in the other books. I can't think of the names right now. But then none of that is in, so people be like, well, that's not canon, so you don't have to read that. But why wouldn't you want to read it anyways? Because it's there. It's there for a purpose. So I have so much stuff to read and learn, but this is a journey. I'm going to be doing this to the day I die. That's all that is. I'm going to be doing this to the day I die. But thank you for your breakdown. I truly do appreciate it. It's just, I have a lot of stuff to keep learning. Oh, and then speaking of the relics, one of you during the live stream last week recommended me going to a relic church in Pittsburgh, and I will be going tomorrow. I'm going to be going with my mom. So it's about a 2-hour drive. So I'm going to take her down there with me. I'm going to vlog it for y'all so y'all can also see what I'm seeing, because I've never been to this church before. I guess she said they're supposed to hold the most relics. I don't know if it's the world or the U.S. or something, but I'm going to go check it out and see what it looks like. And then hopefully I'm back in time to live stream. We're just going to leave it at that. If it starts a little late on Tuesday, you know why. It's because I literally had to drive out to a whole other state to go look at this. All right, and our last comment is from the Trump Plans to Protect Children from Gender Insanity video. And it says, watching Trump on this, I'm thinking that he's a hypocrite. He probably doesn't even realize it though because of his big ego or inability to see the bigger picture. He supports Big Pharma with warp speed, then wants to go after them for a different mutilation of children. By the way, the doctors share responsibility for these procedures, but the admin of the hospitals are the ones calling the shots, and all the way up the chain. Basically, though, I agree with his sentiment on this, but he's got to stop acting like the vaccine was a good thing, even bragging about it still. Everybody needs to go back to voting based on issues instead of emotions. What happened to these people's thinking capacity, and where did this Trump derangement syndrome come from? I've been watching the decline of common sense for a long time, but have never seen so many acting like they've been hypnotized. Something triggers them, and then a huge mob goes all out on ridiculous, destructive behavior. Yeah. So in that video, Trump basically gives his plan on how he's going to get rid of all the trender ideology crap that they're pushing on kids. He's going to stop the surgeries. He's going to go after the doctors. He's going to, he doesn't want it pushed in schools anymore. Just this whole plan to wipe all of it out. And in that video, I was like, that sounds wonderful. I agree with you. But like the comment mentioned, I was like, my whole issue is you push that vax. Because if you remember correctly, Trump did not push it at first. He was talking about how he took ivermectin or something, and the media was like, that's a horse shot or something. They had said something crazy, and then Joe Rogan took it, and Joe Rogan was like, well, I feel fine. And as we can see, Joe Rogan is still fine. Now, what actually happened behind the scenes of whatever we saw, I don't know. But Trump took it and he took it. They still walking, right? Whereas everybody who took the vaccines, problems and issues. So as time went on, Trump then did start pushing that vaccine, but he was pushing the Moderna. And somebody else had left a comment on that video too. They were just like, Trump was bullied into taking it and blah, blah, blah. All I told that person, I was like, look, if that's true, then I hope he learned his lesson, because he can't be coming back doing that for the next presidential run, talking about y'all gotta take these vaccines and the pandemics and blah, blah, blah. No. We're not playing that game again, sir. We're not playing that game at all. Because from what I know, it sounded like he also made money off of all that. So to sit there and be like, oh, that didn't happen, or it did happen, but it's not that bad. No, it happened. It happened. Just like you, I have a whole issue with that whole vaccine thing. And then we see what it's doing now. Look at how many young people keep randomly dropping dead every day, including student athletes. Now they're starting to be kids now too. It's evil. All of this is evil. We watched the Pfizer video on my channel before YouTube took it down. Still on Rumble though. If you're not following me on Rumble, hit the link in the description box below. It's going to be the first link. Go follow me over there. All my videos are up over there. Whereas the YouTube want to keep playing. YouTube, we know who YouTube bows down to though. So I ain't even shocked about YouTube. But yeah. And it's crazy because if you criticize Trump in the slightest, then you have people part of the MAGA side talking about, oh, you just don't like Trump. Like, no. I could like him and I could criticize him at the same time. The only way he gonna get better is if we criticize him. We're not just gonna ride him nonstop and act like nothing else is happening, like the Democratic side be doing. No, we're not about to be stupid like that. Like, he needs to be called out on his nonsense, just like everybody else needs to be called out on their nonsense. But yeah, that's my take on that. Let me know what you guys think about anything in the comment section down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you remember so I drop a video. Hit that first link in the description box once again so you can follow me over on Rumble. And with that said, I will be back at 3 p.m. We are going to be reacting to content this week from Clown World. It was a Clown World indeed this last week, okay? We're going to be reacting to that. Then at 7 p.m. EST, I will be going live like I always do. This might be a shorter stream tonight just because stuff going on personally in my house. So I can't go as late as I want to. But I'll be back Tuesday. And we going to be going late Tuesday. Alright, just to make up for it. So, till next time, you already know who it is. It's Sang.